Tickets are on sale right now for YMH Live, A Very Cool Christmas, December 9th. Join us. We have YMH Originals special guest, Bobby Lee, and a whole lot more. A very, very heavy segment. VIP package with the great Josh Potter. Go to livestream.ymhstudios.com. I'm 205 right now.
So,
but I've been...
And yet you have the audacity to call a podcast Two Bears, One Cave. They were hardly a bear.
Well, it started, I was way fatter.
So now you got to change the name of the podcast. We had a podcast called Fat Man Beyond, Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah.
Then I lost weight. We had to change it to Fat Man Beyond.
Really?
Yes. Because I felt like it was false advertising.
So what should we call it? One bear, one otter?
One bear, one otter.
One
yeah.
otter?
Fucking yeah, man. I mean, what else would it be? It's like...
Tom and the Hitler guy? I don't know.
Welcome to your mom's house.
You know why I look so rested and wonderful? I sleep on a Sattva mattress. It's just that simple. I love all the mattresses I've had from Sattva, the Lumen Leaf, the Luxury Firm, and I sleep on a Solaire every single night. Impeccable quality. Made in the United States of America. 90-day in-home trial. If you don't like it, you can send it back, but you're not gonna because it's just that great. Why not treat yourself to a high-quality luxury mattress without those ridiculous prices of other mattress companies? And let me tell you, right now, go to sattva.com/theshit for $200 off your next Sattva purchase. Sattva.com/theshit. That's SAATVA.com/theshit for $200 off. Get yourself one for Christmas, for Hanukkah, for Kwanzaa, whatever it is you're celebrating. Celebrate your life. Sleep is the most important thing. Invest in your good sleep. Sattva.com/theshit for $200 off.
And we're back. We're here. We're queer and poly.
Get used to it.
Get used to it.
Bye.
All of my pronouns. Everything's good.
Hey, it's so cold in here. We blew out a fuse, apparently.
Well, yeah, I identify as Inuit.
Oh, and now we're all having to play along with your new identification. I get it.
True.
Good thing we have this fire crackling.
Ooh, man,
nice and toasty.
Toasty over here. I like having a fire going at the house.
It is so much fun. There's nothing more fun than a blazing fire.
Except when you have two little boys who go, "Can we pee on it?" And you're like, "No."
They do want to pee on it so bad.
Which I get. I'd want to pee on it too. But
yeah.
I'm like, maybe pee on an outdoor fire, not the living room fire.
Yeah, they can pee on the outside stuff.
You know, don't piss in the living room.
Don't piss in the... What they do, they pee on... Ellis peed on me the other day as a funny haha.
Yeah.
He was hugging me, and then he goes, "Mom, I just peed on you." And I was like, "Thank you."
I know.
I just changed into that outfit, too.
And then the younger one peed on you, and he had the best reaction afterwards. He goes, "I need everyone to get together. I have a story to tell."
Yeah.
I mean, this is so, like... You want to talk about the origin of a comedian. He goes, "I have a story to tell, but I need everybody together."
Yeah.
And I was like,
"Everyone
okay.
Get into the room."
He goes, "It might be great and it might not be." So he's like, potentially, like, this might bomb or I might kill.
Yeah.
But I'm just letting you guys know. And we're like, all right. So we all get together and we're like, what's up? And he goes, "I stood on the edge of the bathtub and I peed on Mom." And then he goes, that was it. That was the whole story.
That was the whole story.
Yeah. And I was like, I mean, yeah, pretty, not bad.
Then they do. They pee on me all the time. They fart on me. The other day, a teacher woke me up by sitting on my head and farting.
You tolerate a lot more, though. I give them the business.
But the thing is that in all sincerity, it doesn't really bother me.
I know.
It's just slapdicky, and it makes me laugh.
I sat on the couch yesterday, and our youngest literally walked over, took my head, moved it like this to his ass and farted. And then like farted right in my face. And I go, "Hey," he goes, "I farted." I go, "I know, you just farted in my face."
Just respect.
But when I pin them down and fart on them, they cry. They cry.
Pussies.
Yeah, sometimes I hold them down and I fart and they're like, you farted.
But that's when you call them pussies. Stop being such
crybabies.
crybabies.
I'm like, grow up, bitch.
Yeah. Speaking of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this lip shade I'm wearing.
Yeah.
Perfect gift for Christmas for the lady in your life. Christina P's perfect red lipstick. Watch this. It's got the magnetic Kapow! That way it doesn't open.
It is a great design feature.
In your bag. It's a great design. And I don't know, and you know why other companies don't do it?
Why?
Because they're cheap, Tom.
Cheap, yeah.
They're cheap MFers. And when I spared no expense in this Italian-made lipstick. It's made in Italy. That's how high quality it is. Very hydrating, and it's the perfect shade of red. Get it at YMHstudios.com or
I gotta tell you,
online.
I gotta tell you,
it's selling like hotcake.
I gotta tell you, man. I gotta give you credit. You had this idea. I had no idea. You got a bona fide hit, like a legit hit on your hands.
It's crazy.
It's the number one seller.
Number one seller, but you know why? 2 mommies, 1 jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked about this because this really is the product. You know, they say you always create the thing you wish existed.
For you.
For me. And I wanted this so long.
That's why I got into palmcasting. I honestly was a guest on a palmcast, and I got so irritated at the host.
Yeah.
Because of how he conducted the show. And like, I was like, why aren't you asking this? And why aren't you doing this? He was like, I don't know. And that really made me want to do it.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I was just like, so I ended up doing the podcast that you want to listen to.
Oh, for sure. You know what always made me so unhappy? Listening to radio. And you're just like, why can't they be honest right now? Why are they laughing? What is so funny?
Oh, my God.
Why is this like so, the pace is terrible. No one's telling the truth about anything.
Yeah.
I hate when people aren't truthful. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
So this is the one place you can say where the fuck you want. It's a safe space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Fuck all the haters.
Fuck them all.
T19, T19,
T16.
T16. F all the haters.
Yeah. 100%. Working on my flow. Yeah. He's a really, really gifted lyricist.
My rhyme.
Okay. Let's play the opening. Hey. Here you go.
And the reason why I'm doing this is for 3 reasons.
Oh.
1, because there are women out there who say they're interested and they want to get to know me.
Nice.
But they're either playing games or they're not sure what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
Who was right? Bringing one mother into this.
Welcome.
Welcome to your mom's house with Tom Segura. And
Christina Pajitsi.
welcome to your mom's house.
Yeah.
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 Some women do not know what they're getting themselves into with this guy.
I don't think any woman knows what they're getting with this guy.
If you don't know, we had played clips of him
Oh, I remember him.
before. I don't see the original stuff here, but he said that he was really proficient at sex.
He's good at everything.
Like really proficient.
I remember.
Women lose their fucking minds with him.
Well, I remember feeling aroused
Oh, you do?
watching him tell me all the stuff that he's into.
He was like, I'm good. Like,
He's-
women flip out when they're with you. And they do things they've never done before, and I push their boundaries.
And then he said he likes to do things with food. He's like, I like whipped cream and the sweets and all that.
Yeah.
And that's when I tapped out because I think that stuff's very messy. And I don't.
We should also point, he's doing these videos on the job. He's wearing his security jacket.
What better time?
It's a cool time. Hey, man, are you watching the monitors right now?
God. Oh, it's cool guy.
Second reason I'm doing this is because a lot of men out there have lost their moxie. They've forgotten how to be men.
That's not true.
They're
That's not untrue.
terrified
Yeah,
of women.
that's true.
And I'm hoping that this will give them their moxie back
That's kind of cool.
by talking about
It's a good
me.
word. Moxie. I like that word.
So he's trying to help people. I respect that.
Yeah. He's a self-help guy.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Second,
You already said second.
third reason
Okay.
is because there are a lot of women out there who've lost their way too.
Oh,
They've become arrogant.
Oh.
They've become too prideful. They've become full of themselves.
bitches.
Feminists, as they were
Femicists.
called.
Feminists.
Some women out there are not like that, and hats off to you.
Oh, thank you.
But hopefully, after this video of talking about me, we'll knock you down a peg or two.
Whoa, thank you.
You know, the world needs people like this, honestly.
For sure. And also to put those feminists is in their place.
Yeah, reset the. You know what you need? A little reset.
Yeah.
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 All right, all right. Let's see what's up. Tell them what's up, dog.
And hopefully, by me talking about me, will lead by an example.
Yes.
And help my fellow men out there
Okay.
gain their moxie back.
All right, the premise is set up. Let's go.
Because men
Thirdly-
should not be afraid of women.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And
Give it to
women need to be knocked down a peg or two.
Already said it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Where is the lesson?
So that's my plan. That's my hope.
Oh.
Okay.
And at the same time, get rid of some riffraffs
Oh.
and let you guys know who I am as a person.
Okay. I'm ready.
Well, the video ends there.
That's it?
Yeah.
Oh, I was so looking forward to the dissertation.
Well, there's another one.
Okay.
Let's see.
So I've been running around doing errands, but as promised, I am doing a segment talking about me.
Oh.
Only me.
Okay.
So I'm not your average male.
No.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about my interests and hobbies and goals.
Have you ever met somebody like this in real life? I have. Like, it's always the most below average guy who goes like, I'm not a regular dude. And you're like, you're not even at regular yet. You're below regular.
I was
What
going
the
to
fuck are you
say,
talking about, man?
I think the bagger at Randall's similar.
You mean my mom? So my mom got a haircut the other day. She FaceTimed me, and she looked like Simple Jack, like from
It looked
from
so
Tropic Thunder.
It was so bad.
She looked just like that. She looked just like that.
Can you send us all the picture?
Oh shit! Let me
It's
see if I
so
can.
funny. Literally like this.
Let me see if I can.
God, she has such a bad history with haircuts. Remember when she got her haircut in Silver Lake
Oh yeah.
and it was like by the lesbian? And then she came home looking like a lesbian?
Hello,
Mom,
Tommy.
hey, we're on the podcast. We're talking about your haircut.
Shut up.
It's so cool. What? Did you go to the grocery store and ask them if you could start bagging groceries?
No, I'm afraid to go because I don't have a uniform.
You know, you look exactly like Simple Jack.
Thank you, Tommy. Actually, coming from you becomes a compliment now.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Now, it's here. I'm going to try it. Can I put the picture of you on the show?
No,
Please?
absolutely.
Give her a hand back.
Come on.
Did I say
You ask me a question, then whatever you want.
Well, I mean, can we make it an even trade or something?
Or an even trade, okay, what do you give me?
I got
I
a
mean,
hand
it's
bag?
a photo of you.
No, but it's a trade, so you're trading for what? For not a picture of you?
You want a picture of me? I'll send you a picture of me.
No, I don't want. That's not the trade that I want. I have an album of you.
Okay, what would you like?
A purse.
I knew it.
It's not very expensive.
It's not very expensive.
I'll get her a beige purse.
It's not very expensive to whom?
She always likes beige purse.
To either one of you.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, how much is it?
It's like $400.
$400?
Yeah, it's not 1,000.
That's true.
Well,
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Deal.
pero que no sea como el colchón.
Okay.
I don't know if Christina understood, but he offered me last February. He asked me if I want a mattress for my bed. Every day I'm waiting for a call of the guy telling me that the mattress is coming. Okay, my butt is in the floor now because we have a box bed.
Okay.
So this purse is going to be for real, no?
Okay.
Okay, I send you the picture. Okay, you can put a photo and laugh at me.
No, I have the photos. I'm going to send them to my producer right now.
Oh, that's not.
Should I email them to you?
Email or airdrop to this computer.
Oh, which airdrop?
It should be called like YMH Playback.
Set 1 playback?
Yeah.
Okay.
Play 6.
Boy, there is nothing worse than a bad haircut.
Got it? Okay.
Got it.
So I sent you 3. There should be an order. So wait, Mom, one of the things you said is that I go, why did you get this haircut? And you go, I go to a lady's house who doesn't cut hair.
No, she cut mine.
Um, yeah, go to the other one first. Actually, there's another one. Hold on, no, that's the second one. One more.
Haircut and blow dry, the whole thing, $60.
Did you hear that? Hold on, I want because here's a woman, Christina. You're a woman. Haircut, blow dry, and color, $60.
Unheard of.
And she said that the woman was like, my mom said, do you want to turn a light on? She goes, no, I don't want it too bright in here.
No, she said, I can see.
She what?
She can see.
She can see?
Unheard of.
Yeah, she said, no, I can see. And she talks non-stop about her trip to Italy and every place that she went, places that she visited, how long did the train last. I was exhausted. I said, don't you want to drink some water so you can breathe? Oh my God.
Yeah, you.
I call her every day to fix the color because she put brown underneath.
Mm-hmm.
And all I hear from Jane every minute I wake up, I say, good morning, Jane. And Mom, do something to your hair.
How about we make a special deal for this, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to get you the bag you want. And on top of that, how about we also pay for you to go to a nice salon?
Oh my God.
Would that be something?
That is something.
And then you have to go back to Publix and go, I don't work here anymore. I got a new cut. I mean, you look just like Simple Jack.
To become Miss Universe.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Unfortunately, life doesn't come with a user manual. So when it's not working for you, it's normal to feel stuck. Navigating any of life's challenges can make you feel unsure, whether it's a career change, a new relationship, or becoming a parent. Therapists are trained to help you figure out the cause of challenging emotions and learn productive coping skills, which makes therapy the closest thing to a guided tour of the complex engine called you. BetterHelp has connected over 3 million people with licensed therapists. It's convenient and accessible anywhere. It's 100% online. I've been in therapy for, 13 years now. It's been the one thing that I've done. I've invested in myself, and it's completely changed my life. I'm so grateful for my therapist. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists, available 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. It's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, just switch to a new therapist anytime. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/momshouse. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/momshouse.
Yeah. Okay. Show me the next picture. Yeah, there we go. And you were very funny. You said, I forgot to put my makeup. Did I have a stroke? I don't know why you said that. And I said, you look great. And then you said, wait till I put on my makeup. I bet they'll change my position to manager. So you said you'd get upgraded, right? And then on the next one, I said, you look normal, Mom. And you go, thanks, Tom, Mom. You wrote that to me. I don't know why. You said your mouth was crooked. I don't know why you said that.
You look well. The man is like I had mini stroke.
I don't think you look like you have a mini stroke, but I do think you need to not go to somebody's house to get your hair colored, cut, and blow dried.
Well, I don't even think Bitsy. I think we spend more on Bitsy's hair.
Yeah, Bitsy has a more expensive haircut.
Bitsy already cost me over $3,500.
Okay, so how about we put some of that towards your haircuts?
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Do you want to give me Botox too?
Do I want to give you Botox?
Yeah.
Yeah, where are you going to put it?
We need a facelift, remember?
A facelift, no, because I'm too old for a facelift.
Will you do ass implants?
Time.
As implants?
Yeah, they put basically they inject fat into your photo to give it a full round look.
That is out of your mind.
Why?
That's the most stupid thing. I'd rather do my face and my butt. Nobody's going to look at my butt.
Oh, they will after this.
No, they won't.
I
I want
prob-
them to look at. Otherwise, they're going to say, too bad that she has a good butt, but look at that face.
Okay, so we're gonna do a bag, Botox, and a haircut.
Yes.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.
But you send me the money, no? Because I don't want to tell you, you owe me this, you owe me that. And 3 years later, like the mattress, I'm still waiting.
Okay, how much money do I have to send you? It's a $400 bag. We already established that.
Yeah. How much is Botox?
I don't know. I haven't gotten Botox.
Well, it depends. I mean, does she want the good kind or at the mall?
Yeah, I mean, are you going to go to a
$60?
lady's house and do it in her garage, or are you going to go to an actual?
No, I'm going to go to a fancy salon.
Okay, well, find out the price.
No, Christina knows how much is Botox, Christina.
It depends. Like I said, if you want like a plastic surgeon to do it, it can cost a lot of money, or
How much?
a few $1,000.
Okay.
Or if you want to go to a back alley at the back of the bakery at Publix, $20.
Yeah.
I take the 4,000.
Did you say 4,000? No one said 4,000.
She said that.
No, she said a few thousand.
Depending on what filler and Botox,
Yeah.
peels.
You what?
I have to do the whole thing. I have to feel good with myself instead of crying and smiling.
So all of a sudden, this call became a $400 bag. Now it's $4,000.
No, now it's 44.
44.
4,000 for the
Oh, my
Botox
God.
I'm feeling,
No,
and 400 for the.
I don't know how you just did that. I really
I
don't know how you
either.
just did that.
4,000.
Charo math.
44.
No.
No.
The Botox is not $4,000. Okay.
Okay, the Botox is 39.
No, it is not.
I just give you a discount of 100. Nobody give me discounts of 100.
You're a crazy person. We are not doing $4,000. It's too much.
Okay, it's 39.
No, it's too much.
Christina, tell him it's okay, please.
What about her teeth? She needs veneers. Oh my God. Big white ones and tetas.
Are you gonna get your tits lifted?
No, just that.
Let's get her big implant.
Let's do if you do tit implants, I'll send you more money.
I'm not going to do teeth implants on me. That's
Why?
stupid.
Big ones.
Big nice ones, big round ones.
Okay, I do my tits.
Okay, she said, "Okay, I'll do my tits."
You want to look
Say
good
it
on
again.
South Beach?
I do my tits.
Okay. All right, I'll give you a call after we're done. Okay.
No, but with the money, yeah?
Well, I know, but we're gonna have to figure out the amount.
Yeah, okay, figure out the amount
Okay.
and then tell me the money via VIN or whatever it's called.
Unbelievable. Okay.
Okay,
Ciao.
witnesses, huh?
Witnesses. Okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Love you.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
That is unbelievable.
Always with the shysting.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it's so weird because she does.
You said
This is-
she goes, so 4,000. She just made up that number.
4 is a little higher end, but that's with filler and Botox and like some other shit that you do to your face. But she's always doing this.
And she, you know what she did? This is what a little shit she is. This is exactly how she is. Such a little shit. Let's say I was like, all right, I'll send you $4,000. She goes, no, 44, because 4 is for the bag. You can't include that. Like one time, I gave her $1,000 at dinner at a casino. No, I gave her like $500, and she was like, "That's it." And I was like,
just to play with.
"Yeah."
It's a ton of scratch to play with.
So I go to the ATM and I get $1,000, right?
Yes.
And I go, "Where are you?" She's like, "I'm at this gift shop at the casino." I go and I give her $1,000 on top. So now she's got $1,500.
Jesus.
And I go, "I'm going to bed." Like I was like, "I'm going to sleep." And she's like, "Thank you so much." And then she goes, I'm just getting this lighter here." And I was like, oh, "Okay." She goes, "Will you pay for it?" And I go, "I just gave you $1,000." She goes, "I know. So just pay for the lighter." And I was like, "No." And she was like, "But if you," I go, "Look, you have to pay for that lighter now out of what I've just given you."
Yeah, that's the whole point.
She was like, no, but that's my money for this. You pay for this too. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pay for it.
Such a shyster, that
I know.
one.
Terrible.
She really knows how to hustle. She should have been like a salesperson or something.
She did tell me, she goes, I bet you can't wait till I die.
Jesus.
And I go, why? She goes, so you could talk about it on stage and your fans go, ah, ha, 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 my mom's dead. And then she goes, see? Because I started laughing. I go, yeah, I know. I mean, I'll definitely say it.
Yeah.
I think, what I was thinking of doing is she's going to be at my show in Florida, one of the shows I'm coming to, is just like in the middle of the show being like, oh yeah, my mom died.
She's like, what?
And then just have everybody go like, oh, I'm just kidding. She's here. I just want to try it.
She'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. She'd get a kick out of that.
Yeah, sucks. My mom just died. Earlier today, actually. Yeah. And she'll be like, very funny to me. You owe me now. And it'll be like another fucking bill.
I know. She's always charging you for this comedy stuff.
So here's what I'm interested in.
Oh, boy.
I'm interested in drawing.
Drawing.
I've been drawing for a long time now. I'm really good at it.
Okay.
Don't want to brag, but I am really good.
But that is bragging.
Well, that is bragging.
Yeah.
And as soon as I clean my house up, organize and everything, I intend to get myself a chess. So I can lock up my portfolio, because I tend to rebuild my portfolio. Because when I was younger, and not too long ago also, I had tons of drawings I was drawing, and then they mysteriously disappeared, or they were destroyed, and I don't want to get back into drawing unless I can actually protect my artwork.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what my goal is. As an artist, that is a very big interest of mine, and I want to be able to do it professionally. You know, I want to be so good almost as good as a comic book illustrator, if not better. So yeah, that's one of my interests.
You know what I think?
Goals.
Okay. You know what I think happened? You know what I think happened
Tell me.
to his drawings? His mom was cleaning his room because he still lives at home, and his mom threw him away by
There was
accident.
nice background audio.
Always. And the great angle and the stellar lighting. Don't forget. Check,
All
check,
the
check,
cool
check, check, check,
guy.
check.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, she probably did do away with his stuff.
She's not.
Accidentally.
Can I tell you, I was watching today the latest season of The Crown
Yeah.
as I was on the treadmill.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what occurred to me that you need more than anything?
What?
Not another car, not another fancy designer jacket. You need a valet.
A valet?
Remember from Downton Abbey?
Yeah.
You have a valet. Okay. So King Edward VIII, after he abdicated his throne, had a valet. And you know what this guy said? He goes, from the minute he opened his eyes until the moment he closed his eyes, I took care of his every need.
I would love this.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And that line alone, I was like, could you imagine? Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
If you open your eyes and your valet is there with your coffee with just a splash of oat milk, just the way you like it, sir. And then here's the latest news and sports, sir. And here's
I want him to be British.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened is King Edward taught this valet all the ways of the British gentleman, and he'll teach you the ways of the gentleman.
Okay, so how do we I want to put this call out now. Can we make it happen
British
on the show?
valet?
Yeah.
Dude, and he dresses you and he combs you. He combs your shoulders with the brush to get the lint off. You know how he does that on Downton Abbey?
I'm ready.
Your meals, they know exactly how you like everything to a
I'm
T.
ready for this.
No, I know. Well, what do you want him to be like? Like, do you want what's
Just
just British?
Yeah.
Okay.
Educated.
Handsome.
Sure.
Okay.
Articulate. Not too young.
Not too young.
He's
No.
got to be able to, I want him to be an adult.
But this valet was young, and that way Edward taught him the ways that he liked it. So that there's something to be said, but you have to be patient because then you're training that valet.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of patience.
And
though.
the cool thing is the valet would come to like polo matches and sit next to his man. You know what I mean? Like, he's literally your right-hand guy.
Yeah.
Your valet just talks for you and does everything.
I love it.
I know.
I know.
I think I want a valet too, like someone just to pet my head and take care of me and like walk me through life.
I wouldn't mind if you were Japanese.
Like real submissive.
Well, I like that culture, you know.
Oh, a Japanese man. It would have to be a man though.
Yeah,
you don't want a woman.
I don't want it. I want it to be a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want a valet too,
Yeah.
I think. It'd be fucking rad.
Yeah. Someone who's not scared to, get involved.
And not too chatty either, because I know you don't want to talk, but he just knows your
Chat.
every need.
Yeah.
Mr. Segura has to take a shit now, and he knows when you shit. He's like, oh, that's...
Someone who's slapped a lady when she's mouthed off,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
I just took these off.
Those are terrible.
These are probably the ugliest ones
Those are terrible.
I'm working with right
You have a
now.
collection of those.
I have a collection of the ugliest sneakers. Look at that. How unfuckable am I in my...
I mean...
And these are
I would
like...
expect you to get those in your 60s.
Look how thick the soles are.
I know.
But you know what? They're great for my broken ankle. And when I do my 10,000 steps every day, I got some real...
Save it.
Save what?
I don't want to hear it.
Hear what?
Oh, how this... I got my ankle...
You need a valet to complain to. Yeah. I don't have to listen to your fucking bullshit.
All right. We got to wrap. You got to run. You got to tell the audience you're going to run for the second part.
Oh, yeah, guys. I got to take care of some kid stuff. You know how that goes, appointments with kiddos. So Tom here is going to take care of the next segment. And I'll see you next time.
And you can catch Christina P on tour. Christina P
That's
online.
right, home dog. Right now, my tour is on sale for 2023. I go to a very select... Unlike Tom, who came everywhere, I only go to select fucking cities. You hear me? You heard? I don't come everywhere. I only come to a few fucking places like Addison, Texas, Breast Balls Beach, Chicago. I go to Rohnert Park, California, Milwaukee, and Charlestown, West Virginia.
There you go.
ChristinaPOnline.com.
Get your tickets.
Bye. Thank
God Christina's gone. We threw her out, and we're sitting here with somebody so much more fun to look at. Kevin Smith, thank you for coming by.
I'll be honest with you. Well, thank you, kids. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was, look, there's a number of things I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Number one, where is Pashitsky? She's
Literally,
taking a Pashitsky. Where is she?
She literally just walked out because of kid stuff. She had to go get one of the kids.
All right, so it wasn't me. She wasn't like, who?
No.
Fucking not Kevin James, Kevin Smith?
Christina actually tried to get today's entire schedule moved up so that she could be here with you.
For those at home that don't know, years ago I did a pilot for a TV show called Tonightly, back when they were still giving white guys TV shows and stuff. They're like, let's try one out on this white guy.
Yeah.
He's been around for a while. Silent Bob, but he talks. There's your hook. So they tried, Jim Paratori was the gentleman's name. He'd made The Ellen Show. He had created TMZ. So he had a track record. And TMZ wanted a companion piece. And so he wanted to do a show that we wound up calling Tonightly, which was like, just an interview show. Kind of like, what's her name? Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea Handler.
Lately, but in the fucking after, we'd curse, right?
Fuck yeah.
I was like, where am I?
Fucking blacks are out of control. Go for it, man.
Good point. So yeah, we were meant to do that, but he was like, we're going to try a bunch of different co-hosts with you. And one of the co-hosts was Christina P.
Yeah.
Who I really bothered to learn how to pronounce her last name, and then she left my life because the show never happened.
Do you know though? First of all, I'm so sad now that you bring this up that she's not here right now. Like how?
I thought you were gonna be like, I'm so sad she didn't get that show because we would have been rich. Because I was gonna stop you and be like, bitch, I just walked into this fucking facility, and that's the next thing I want to talk about. I've been podcasting since 2007.
Yeah.
Where the fuck's my fucking money? What happened here? How fucking popular are you and your wife?
Because you got to move to Texas. The money goes a lot further.
Is that what it is?
That's definitely what it is.
This is insane. I mean, I guess they can see it they could see this room, the set, which is absolutely lovely. But for the viewer at home and the listener at home, I just came through a facility that looks like THX 1138. It's a giant fucking building.
It's a pretty wild thing.
How did this happen? Who is your agent?
First of all, I want to say this. When this is why I'm so mad that she's not here right now. I remember so vividly. We were so poor.
When that happened?
When she was went for got the pilot or whatever. They went to shoot the pilot.
Nightly, yeah.
And like, there's just things in your like in your life that you so remember. And
right.
I remember that. So like, she's like, I'm shooting this thing with Kevin Smith, and like, there's some stuff I have to tell you off the air. No, fun stuff. You
I was like,
no.
For the listener,
I know you grabbed their tits.
Went so high.
No. It was
instantly. I was scrubbing my memory banks, going, "There's no way."
No. It was just, but it was, when
she was lovely,
when you're
by the way, and funny. More importantly,
of course, she's
funny,
fantastic.
Funny fucker,
but when you're just struggling to get by, and you get a little, I mean, those are the days where like you get a commercial, and you're just like, dude, our year's gonna change.
Before you guys figured out how to like grab hold of your own fucking future.
Yes, yeah.
Which is what I'm assuming happened here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been.
How long has this been going on?
We started this podcast in 2010.
Okay.
And it has had a number of
incarnations.
Yes, different sets and different.
But always you two.
There's always us.
Married comedians trying to make each other not laugh because they don't do comedy.
Exactly. I mean, and it also, there's this really interesting thing that happened, and this is purely coincidence that we came up in a time where podcasting got popular and stand-up had been gaining its popularity, and also the age of the internet, so that the two feed each other. So the podcast fed our stand-up audience.
Right.
Then we got Netflix specials, which
all right, don't gloss over that.
No, but like they all.
How does one get to that? It's one thing to be like, we recorded podcasts and more people started coming to our show.
Yeah.
You can't gloss over. Then the Netflix specials happen. How does one get there?
Well, I mean, that's just like that. We're comedians first. We're stand-ups first. So we started stand-up in 2002.
Right.
And we just went through all. I was on.
Totally, but you've been stand-up in
live
forever
at Gotham
until when does Netflix come calling? Like when?
Well,
does
they
that
don't come
magic
calling. This is actually an interesting story.
Good. I want to hear this.
You want to hear this story?
In my head, I'm like, this rich fuck.
Oh, no,
Netflix just bent over and said, take all the money out of us and build a podcast empire.
I'll tell you this is a kind of a fun insider story of stand-up.
I would love to hear.
So the place to be for sure for the 2000s and into the 2010s is Comedy Central. And that was like, if you remember, that is
what's
like
it, Tosh and stuff like
I
that.
mean, and then half hour, Comedy Central Presents. That's where
the half hour comedy,
that half hour thing. That's where everybody broke. Mitch Hedberg had it, Dane had it, Attell had it. Everybody that like became a name in stand up, it was all Comedy Central. Comedy Central was just like the home of stand up. And I did a show called Live at Gotham, which was their what was Premium Blend, and then I got a half hour special.
Wait, Live at Gotham Comedy Club back in New York?
Exactly.
Copy.
And then
you got a half hour.
I got a half hour after that. Yeah. So that one came out in 2011, and they're like, it's gonna change your career. Didn't do a fucking thing.
Is that right?
Didn't do a fucking thing.
Did more people go to the live shows?
No.
Didn't introduce you to a new audience.
Not at all.
So it's not like, hey, suddenly I had the Comedy Central people.
A couple clubs may have been like, all right, we'll book him now because they go, what are your credits?
They can put you on a thing.
They always do credits.
I've seen on Comedy Central.
Comedy Central Presents. Didn't do a fucking thing. So then I want to do an hour. So what I do is, since I have a relationship with Comedy Central, I tell them, I have this new hour. I want you to come see it. So we booked this room in Burbank. I run the hour for a packed audience. Right, it goes great. Next day, I'm like, I call him. I'm like, what'd they say? He's like, they said there's not really like a theme to it. I was like, a theme? I mean, the theme's jokes. What do you mean theme? And they're like that was just their way. Like when somebody gives you notes on a script or whatever, and you're like, the fuck are you talking? Like it's just a way of saying no.
Right.
Like, just tell me no.
Right.
So they're like, no. So then we find a company that says they'll shoot it on spec. Right? Meaning,
what's the company?
What's the company? At the time, they're called New Wave.
Comedy Dynamics.
Yes.
I know them.
Okay.
They did the special that I did when I had my fucking heart attack and almost died.
There you go.
Brian
Volquist.
Yes, amazing guy.
So
he does for those.
He's done 1 million of these.
For those that don't connect the dots too, like he's big in the world of comedy specials, but he's also the guy who brings us The Toys That Made Us on Netflix,
which is a really cool show.
Fantastic fucking show.
Very cool show.
So anyway, back to you.
So Brian and his company, they go, we'll shoot your hour without a buy. In other words, for people that are listening, that it means that he's incurring the risk, meaning like there is no buyer yet.
There's no buyer. He's taking a chance
that they'll find a home for this.
Yeah.
So he shoots it. We send it again to Comedy Central because we still want to be on Comedy Central. And Comedy Central passes again. As do I didn't even know they sent it to everybody else. They're like, oh, we sent it to HBO. I'm like, you sent it to HBO? At the time, HBO is like George Carlin, Chris Rock, Robin Williams. I'm like, why would you even send it to them? And they're like, well, we just did. So they sent it to Showtime. He's like, everybody said no. This is 2013.
Okay.
Except for Netflix. I was like, Netflix? And they're like, yeah, Netflix said they would do it. I'm like, that's where you mail DVDs, dude. And they're like, yeah, but they're switching to streaming. And I was like, this is a fucking failure, you know?
Oh my God.
So then they just tell me it'll air next year on Netflix. Dude, I don't even think twice about it. I just figured like, that's that. I remember it coming out. I remember it being like, you know, getting like some tweets. I didn't even think about it again. And then like 6 months later, I would do a club and they're like, hey, you sold out the show tonight. And I wouldn't even understand. At first I didn't put it together.
Really?
They're like, did you do press this week? And I was like, no. They're like, it's sold out. And then it just kept happening.
And then you realized like.
Then I realized it was the Netflix special. And then that like basically propelled me into another one. And at the same time that that's happening, the podcast audience keeps growing.
So you guys are doing Your Mom's House at the same time?
Oh yeah. Every week, never missing a week. Even if we're touring, doing international dates, we would record shows in advance and make sure that they came out.
Are you guys earning off the podcast? Like YouTube ads or fucking reading
the only thing we did
Fleshlight.
to make money at first was, there used to be this thing called, it was the Amazon, it was a banner you'd put on your podcast site.
Yeah.
And if somebody shopped through it, Amazon would give you like pennies on the dollar.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was the only thing for like, let's say,
so you're
2 years.
Doing it for the love more than anything else.
Yeah, you just, the goal was, I remember calling my dad and being like, you know, we had that and we had like one or two other small sponsors. And I was like, hey, I think by next year I can get this podcast to pay my rent. And he was like, really? I go, I think I could pay rent next year by just doing the podcast.
Right.
And it just kept building from there.
What year did you start?
The podcast in 2010.
And that was the first time you'd ever podcasted?
I'd been a guest on a few. I was a guest on Rogan's. I was like on probably 6 of the first 30 Joe Rogan experiences. Because he was also like in his office on his couch.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, I remember him being like, lean into the mic, man. And I was like, oh, okay. And
I remember him hitting me up and going, Fleshlight. I was like, and he goes, you've been working with them, because we reached out to them early on, and like when I was doing podcasts in the beginning, it was like, podcasting is free. And then one day my business manager was like, you just got a server bill, and it was for a lot of money. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And it turns out that like podcasting is free for people who listen,
not for you,
not for the guy who's hosting it. And the more people listen, the more expensive it got. So I remember we reverse engineered it, where we were like, well, fuck, man, I can't pay for this, but I want to keep podcasting. And I was like, what can we do? I was like, remember that movie Quiz Show? Like fucking Geritol was the sponsor of 21. What if we got like one company to sponsor us and shit? And Mosier was like, what, like Pampers or Wonder Bread? And I was like, no, man, I remember like in Zack and Miri, after Zack and Miri came out, like I'd made a Fleshlight joke in the movie. And they sent me a letter going like, we were so flattered that you mentioned us. If you ever want to do a Fleshlight, reach out to us and stuff. And I was like, what if we reach out to Fleshlight and ask them to like be the sponsor of the fucking show? And so they were our sponsor for like 2 years. We sold so many fucking Fleshlights. And then one day, Joe called me up and he just started the podcast. I guess he was in the first 30 at that point. And he was like, what do you think about Fleshlight? Are they real? And I was like, yeah, they're very real, man. Like they've sponsored us for the last like almost 2 years or whatever. And so he was like, should I use them as a sponsor? And I was like, yeah, it's a fuck toy, man. It's awesome. You can make 1,000 jokes about it.
Sure.
Like, it's content. And now he's a fucking billionaire. What have I done wrong?
What do you
Tom?
mean? You're fucking Kevin Smith.
I'm sitting here reconsidering my entire fucking life going like, I was at podcasting. I was there in 2007. I was there. It was in the beginning. It was me, Leo Laporte, who did This Week in Tech, fucking Adam Curry from MTV, and Ricky Gervais not really doing a podcast, but doing a radio show that they called a podcast.
Sure.
So I was there before Joe, before Adam, before fucking Nerdist, Marin. I watched everybody come in. I watched everybody get rich. And this was my thing. I thought I was so smart because I was like, oh, if I do these free podcasts, people listen to them and they'll buy tickets when I go do shows in their cities. And that model made me feel like I cracked the fucking code.
Because they do.
Yeah, but like, look at this shit.
But wait a minute.
There's a fucking fake fireplace here.
I know.
Who's paying for this?
It's crazy.
Fucking nuts.
But wait, what about, you have ads?
We do ads.
Okay. So, but how many, and you have multiple podcasts.
Yeah, but I didn't figure out ads until like way later and stuff. And also I always co-host them with a bunch of people and I'm always like, oh, you take the money. I don't care.
Again, we're talking about like how things, I have never, I can remember how hard I laughed watching Clerks for the first time.
Don't you switch in interview mode on me, Tom.
Listen to me.
Don't you do it. We're just having a good time talking about you. And now you're like, I've been talking about me too long. It's okay to talk about you on your show.
Dirty
what
comic,
you've done is amazing here.
I like
And I want to know where the money comes from.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
It's more money than you think.
No shit, dude. No shit. But I walked in and I was like, if this is the money I'm seeing, what are they taking home?
Nah, it's fucking stupid.
How many kids you got? 2? Did you say it's fucking stupid?
Well, you know what is really stupid is touring money.
What do you mean? That's really wonderful?
Yeah.
I see. All right. I'm on a tour right now, right?
Yeah.
And I have been since September. I got a movie, Clerks 3. I learned early on that, I can just fill a fucking room, right?
Yeah.
So,
and you can tell a story and you're good.
I can hold court.
Yeah.
But, I realized early on too, like, oh, they'll pay $50 to come see me just talk about making movies. What if I bring a movie? And then all that money goes to the movie instead. So on this tour, like I'm doing 52 dates.
What?
52 dates.
Where you'll screen the film.
I get up, I intro, screen the flick, and then do a Q&A afterwards that's longer than the movie.
So it's a 3-hour plus event.
Yeah, easily. It's like a 4-hour night. And then 5 if you include the VIP, because 100 people every night do VIP. And we take pictures.
Hustling, dude.
You're not kidding. Dude, I work. Like there's people like you're everywhere. It ain't because like I like myself, it's because I'm hustling. Like I don't have this fucking
I respect that.
I don't have the your mom's house fucking money that you guys are just wasting on fake fireplaces and unbelievable. You should see the parking. The copious amounts of ample parking. I mean that's like live in Austin. That makes sense. When did you guys come down here?
Year and a half. We just got here. By the way, this would have cost me $30 million in LA.
What's it cost a year?
Fucking not that much.
So I go on tour, and in this tour, I will split the money 4 ways with people who aren't even on the tour.
Who are they?
The boys who make up the cast, Brian O'Halloran, Jeff Anderson.
You're taking care of the cast?
Yes.
All right,
and Jason Mewes.
They help make it happen.
Bingo. So in that instance, it's fucking copacetic.
Yeah.
But generally, like, yes, touring money is fucking amazing. But I keep wanting to tour the movie.
Do you know what I did, dude? I just did this. And I get inspiration, honestly, from directors and people that take chances and encourage, like, I told Quentin this because I heard him say this, and I've heard you say this even more so, which is when you tell people, like, go fucking make shit, man. Yeah. Like, you can just, you made Clerks for like 30 grand or whatever.
75.
How the fuck did you do
in
that?
1993, bitch.
And by the way, just so I get this straight, like, when you do that, I mean, obviously people must be like, well, yeah, people do that. You're a fucking crazy person. Good luck. You know, I mean, when
nowadays it seems crazier because they're like, you spent how much? What'd you do with all the money? Because you could literally make a feature for
don't
like way
tell me
less
that
on
because
an
I'm about
iPhone.
to tell you something that's gonna fucking make you weep.
What
so
is
wait though. So you take this thing.
Yeah.
Like when you first show it, because like I remember hearing about it, and like I said,
By the time you heard about it, it had been picked up.
it had
was
picked
a
up,
thing.
and I'm crying, laughing at the dialogue. It's so funny, and like you know, part of the thing that's so like refreshing and fun about the film when I first saw it is that it's unlike the dialogue you hear in movies, right? And you're like, oh yeah, this guy got to make his own movie because you go to a studio movie at the time, you're not going to see that dialogue, you're not going to see that story, and
nobody can talk about
you having to compromise
Snowball
by
and
how
shit.
you shoot it, but like the movie's so original and fresh. But when you show it to somebody right after that,
Right.
what is what's the reception?
The first time we showed it publicly was at a thing called the Independent Feature Film Market, which was run out of the Angelica Film Center up in New York. It was a marketplace, not a film festival. So you pay for a slot and you try to pack it with as many potential distributors, exhibitors, whoever can help it move the needle forward. Hopefully somebody to buy it. So I had read an article about Richard Linklater having done that with Slacker, and Slacker was the movie that I saw shot right here in Austin, Texas. Spiritual home to my filmmaking career because Slacker was made here. I went and saw Richard Linklater's Slacker at the Angelica Film Center, and I viewed it with a mixture of awe and arrogance. Awe because I was like, I've never seen anything like this before. Arrogance because I was like, if this counts as a movie, I think I could make a movie too, having no experience or anything like that. So when I make the flick, the only plan I have is not Sundance, because that's where movies in color with movie stars go. The most famous Sundance movie at that point was Sex, Lies, and Videotape. It was shot in color and had Andy McDowell in it. So that festival was never in the cards for me, although that would be the festival that would change my life. I was just going to this marketplace. Because that's what Richard Linklater did. So the first screening we had was on October 3rd at 11 a.m., 1993. Me and Scott Mosier, my producer, had gone to a bunch of other screenings during the week, and they're all fucking packed. Man, we sat on the floor to watch this movie, The Making of And God Spoke. There was a movie called Clean Shaven by Lodge Kerrigan, which was a real festival hit. That was fucking packed. So we thought our screening's going to be packed. And the whole time I was like, they must know that Clerks is quality because they put us on Sunday at 11 a.m. after everything's fucking done, man, the day off. That's got to be a prime spot. Turns out it's the absolute worst spot. Nobody goes to the IFFM on a fucking Sunday. So our screening was me, Scott Mosier, my producer, Brian, Jeff, Marilyn, Lisa, who were in the movie, my friend Ed, Dave Klein, who shot the movie, Kristen Mosier, Scott's sister, and that was about it. Basically people that worked on the movie.
That was it.
And two other people. There's one, there's two people. There's a couple, then there's a man by himself sitting up in the front row, and then there was a lady who I didn't see where she was sitting, but she's who I dealt with after the screening. When I go into that screening, I'm expecting full house. When I walk in and see nobody, that is the end of my future. Like, you know, at this point, I'm cruising on the volition of passion, getting Clerks made, and I have no money. I come from a poor family and shit like that, still spitting glue, pulling it together and whatnot. And this was meant to be the place where it's like, bam, this is where it happens. You graduate and all your dreams come true. And I walked into that screening and had to sit there for the first 15 minutes watching this movie and judging it for the first time. I'm like, oh my God, it looks like it was shot through a fucking glass of milk. It's so fucking murky. And like, also, why does everyone keep cursing? Like, everyone keeps cursing. It's just so fucking unbelievable. I thought that I could pull this off. I was like, I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my fucking life. This is the worst fucking idea. About 15 minutes into the screening, I was able to cognitively reframe it, where I was like, you know what? If you went to NYU Film School, it would have been 40 grand for 1 year. You only spent 27 grand. You know how to make a movie now. So this money, yes, that sucks, but you got a job. You just have to get another job and you pay it off, because I put it all on credit cards and shit. I was like, and make sure you do that. And then when you pay it off, you have to promise that you'll do this one more time before you die, because you loved who you were when you were making this movie. You knew for the first time exactly who you were supposed to be.
Yeah.
So don't sell out on this just because it didn't fucking work and your dream didn't come true. So that was the very first screening of Clerks. When it was over, Scott Mosier talked to some guy, an older man who had a badge that didn't indicate he was from New Line or Miramax or whatever. I was pulled aside by this girl who goes, it's very like New York, downtown New York. She was just like, you made this movie? I was like, yeah. She goes, you know people like the people in this movie? And I was one of them and surrounded by them in the cast. And I was like, I guess a little. And she goes, I have this theory that all the Nazis who ever died are reincarnated, and that's what populates New Jersey.
Whoa.
And I was like, oh, all right. And she goes, well, I guess I'll give you my headshot. And she gave me her fucking headshot. That was the first reaction that I had to fucking Clerks.
That's memorable.
Scott Mosier talked to Bob Hawke, who was like, you should submit this to Sundance. He was like, I work with Sundance. This is a total Sundance movie. You should think about submitting to Sundance. But we didn't know who he was and what he mattered to Sundance. So it was just sounding like an old guy saying, you should do a thing. And I'm fucking walking away. So that whole day, there was a good 24 hours of me going, I made this thing and I didn't consider the consequences until now. And here are the consequences. Like the road is dead and nothing's going to happen. I'm going to watch this movie once a year on a VHS copy just to remember the worst decision I ever fucking made and shit. And then the next morning, I got a phone call from this woman named Amy Taubin who wrote for The Village Voice. And I had her article that was framed on my wall. And it was about Richard Linklater and how he had played at the Angelica at the IFFM. So she calls up and she's like, I'm looking for Kevin Smith. I was like, who's this? And she says, this is Amy Taubin. I was like, come on, man, don't fucking do this to me. And she says, what are you talking about? I was like, who told you to call? Brian Johnson? Somebody put you up to this? I thought it was one of my friends making her make a prank phone call and shit. Because I was like, who else would know the exact fucking name that would make me go like, what?
Yeah.
So I thought they were trying to pull one over on me. And she was like, this is so disturbing. I've never had somebody debate me on who I am. And she was like, I was like, you're really Amy Taubin. She goes, yeah, I called the number in the catalog, in the IFFM catalog. Your father answered because it was my home phone number. And he said that like he couldn't believe somebody was interested in his son's movie, and he gave me this number to call you.
I can't believe you want to.
That's my dad. He's just like, what? Somebody likes my son's movie?
You sure?
So I was like, if this is really Amy Taubin, I got an article that you wrote hanging like right next to me. I'm looking at it right now, reels and deals and shit. And she's like, oh, this is going to be the easiest interview you've ever done. I was like, this is going to be the first interview I've ever done. And she was like, oh, I want to talk to you about the movie. Can you get me a copy? I heard it was the undiscovered gem of the marketplace. There was a call that came 5 minutes after that. There's a guy named Larry Kardish who ran New Directors, New Films, which is the sister film festival to the New York Film Festival. You could only play it once. He was like, I hear this movie is a movie that I must see. And I was like, who told you this? He's like, I'm not at liberty to say. That guy programmed the movie. We played at New Directors, New Films, and they program a short before your film. And the short also has to be a first-time feature, first short film. So Clerks had a short that played before it that was called Ice Cream. Do you know who directed it?
Louis C.K.
Bang.
I've seen Ice Cream.
He was also the same screening slot. Was Louis? That's the first time I ever saw him. So the third call I got was Peter Broderick, who wrote for Filmmaker magazine. He'd written an article that we use because people didn't tell their budgets back then. It wasn't like the internet where you could find anything out. There was no fucking internet. So nobody talked about their budgets. You didn't know how much a fucking thing cost because everybody then wanted to sell their movie for more. So they didn't want to tell you how much it cost. So it's tough to get information. Filmmaker had published an article on 3 movies and their budgets. The Laws of Gravity by Nick Gomez, Greg Araki's The Living End, and a movie called Together Alone, the director of which I always forget. It broke down what everything cost. That was useful information. For the first time, it was like, okay, renting a camera should cost roughly this. Film stock should cost roughly this. This was all information that wasn't readily available, but the difference between making a thing and not making a thing. If we'd waited 10 minutes, YouTube would have happened and fucking everybody can make a fucking thing.
Sure.
But this was back when you're like, we got to rent a 16 millimeter camera in order to make
how do we
movie.
do this? Yeah.
So in the beginning, it was very like, the first screening of the movie was a disaster, but within 24 hours of that first screening, all these calls started happening. That guy, Peter Broderick, he called up to be like, I want to use your movie in this year's piece in the magazine, the same piece that we used to budget our movie. And I was like, who told you about this movie? Nobody was there.
And by the time I see it, meaning like, I don't remember exactly.
Sundance. You see it post Sundance, probably 94, 95.
Like your world has changed at that point, right?
Yes and no. I'm the flavor of what I thought would be the month, but it was definitely a fucking year of people being like, hey, this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Movie traveled from January 94, went to a bunch of festivals, and then came out theatrically in October of 94.
Mm-hmm.
So I enjoyed almost a full year of the festival circuit and stuff. When the movie came out, it was a true art house movie, only played in the cities, open New York and LA, never played on more than 50 screens total at any given time.
But it goes huge on video?
That's where a lot of people discover it. So like in theaters, I had the critics and highbrow audiences and stuff, city audiences.
Yeah.
When it went to home video, that's when it found its real audience.
It's real audience.
And by that point, we were working on Mallrats. And like we had a screening of Mallrats at San Diego Comic-Con 1995. And Jay and Silent Bob came out on screen and the audience went nuts. And I was like, how the fuck did they know? And it was because Clerks was on home video by that point.
Oh, right.
So enough people were like, oh, I know those
I know
fucking
those
guys.
guys,
They're from
yeah.
the other movie. And that's a feeling I've been chasing ever since. Like every night we go out on this tour, there's 7 stops left, right? I got a show here tonight. Then I go to some other fucking San Antonio. Then I go to Phoenix in a week, and then Boston and Hartford. Then we're done. So 52, or right now it's been 49 or 48 times that we've shown the fucking flick. Every night it's like going to a church where the congregation believes that I'm both the priest and Jesus at the same time.
That's pretty rad, dude.
It is unfucking believable. It is I don't know if this is the term jerry-rigged racially insensitive?
Let's go for it.
Jerry-rigged.
Yeah.
It's a very jerry-rigged system. Like I realized early on, the game is too expensive.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a guy that makes movies very inexpensively. Marketing costs $20 million. Doesn't matter if your movie costs $100,000 or $100 million.
Yeah.
Minimum marketing of a movie getting into theaters is $20 million bucks.
Yeah.
When you're a guy who's like struggling to keep the budget down for $5 million, and then they just throw $20 million in marketing, it's just repugnant. You're like, it's fucking disgusting. I could have used that money and make a better movie, pay people, all these people, and I'm like, please do it for nothing. I could have a facility that looks like this fucking place.
Do you want to fucking make fun of me? Ready?
Yeah,
okay.
me.
You're gonna laugh at me.
I ain't never making fun of you again. I mean, I never did, but I'm fucking you. You occur to me as the smartest man in the business right now.
No.
Based on the doors I walk through.
Clerks was made for $27,575.
Yeah.
Earlier this year.
You made a feature?
No. I called my friend Rami, and I'm like, Rami Hashash, great dude, director, and we'd worked together. We shot this music video together once. He directed one of my specials.
Right.
I sent him a short. I like short films, right? So I wrote a short film. I go, I think I want to make. You want to do this? I have a break in my tour coming up, and I go, it's either this one or this one. So I send him a couple, and then I'm like, actually, maybe this one. And then I just sent him a bank of them. I have a bunch. And what do you think? And he goes, why don't we pick 3? And if I can get the schedule right, we could shoot these like 3 short films over the course of like 10, 11 days, which is exactly the break that I have. So I'm like, wow. Well, at that point, I think we got to make it like a show. In other words, almost like, like old Twilight Zone, where like a host is like, and he throws to like
an anthology piece.
Right. So we kind of lean into that concept. We shoot 3 completely separate short film, completely different stories.
Right.
And then I fly back on another day and I do a soundstage day where I introduce the show. This is all just proof. I mean, I don't have like a deal or anything. I just proof of concept.
Right.
Shoot these 1.2 million. I spent.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
How? What?
Yes.
And they still give you all this money?
Yeah, dude.
What? Who is your agent? And can that agent be my agent?
Yes.
Who is your agent?
Which one?
You got that many?
Yeah, I got a few.
Smart guys got a lot of agents. Good God, really?
Yeah, I wrote it out of pocket, man. Like you
paid for it?
I paid for the whole thing.
1.2 million.
Yes.
You just told that story in public.
Yeah.
Like where you're like, oh, I accidentally paid 1.2 million for a thing out of pocket change.
Well, it wasn't
how
pocket
fucking
change.
rich are you guys?
I'm not that rich, but
dude, I can't do that. I made Clerks. I've been in business 30 years. If a friend of mine is like, I need $300,000 for a movie, I'm like, good luck. I don't know. I'm looking for money too. Where you tell me when you find something.
You know what's crazy?
You're like, hold on.
Here's the crazy.
Here, Rami, 1.2.
Here's the crazier
for
part.
10 minutes of film.
We had an extensive conversation about what I wanted to spend on this thing.
Right.
And it is less than half of that.
I would hope
And
so.
it was agreed upon. And then one day I was like, this is not what we talked about. Like it's way more.
I gotta get to know you, man. You're a fucking sucker. I'm gonna get a lot of money out of you.
Yeah, I think
man.
you probably could. I think you could. I think you probably could.
Hey man, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So this something happened to me the other day on the internet. Let me get your take on it. So I went and saw Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Mm-hmm. And
is it all black again, or is it like a little more?
I was seriously going like, is it?
Is it? Yeah.
Trying to answer that question seriously. It's pretty black.
Yeah.
Wonderful movie and stuff. So I'm a pretty emotional guy.
Yeah.
Always have been, heart on sleeve kind of guy.
Yeah.
Post heart attack, even more so.
Yeah. And by the way, I know this story's been out there, but you look fantastic.
Thank you. Trying to stay alive. Body got smart. My heart got cute with me, and I had to fucking.
But
smack
you're really
it down.
taking care of yourself, and
I walk a lot, and I went vegan, and
And just real quick, how much are you down from your like what you
my
were?
biggest I was 330. Like I remember at one point I was like, I weigh my area code, which was 323, and then I gained a little more weight. So my biggest was 330, and now I'm 190 right now.
Wow.
Which is my absolute adult thinness. That's kind of what I weighed like when I graduated high school.
I mean, you look great.
Thank you. It means the world. I was kind of hoping to show it off to Christina P. Because
Yeah. Well,
fucking if I could take her away, I get half of this.
You get this. Yeah.
So anyway, the heart attack, post heart attack, I got even softer. I've always been a soft boy. And shit.
Sure.
You a soft boy or you a hard guy?
No, I'm very soft.
Yes.
But I try to.
To come across as hard? Yeah.
I
don't know. I gave up
I
trying.
cry all the time, dude.
Yeah, I love it. I'm big into crying, man. I think it's cathartic and fucking like, especially if it's for good reason. Like, I've cried throughout my life for horrible fucking reasons, and it's terrible. But like when you're watching a movie and it's like, and there's a moment in Black Panther in the end credit sequence. I mean, a lot of it's emotional because Chadwick Boseman died and shit, and that's woven into the story. And so there's a moment in like, they do their mid-credit sequence, where they like a little scenelet thing. And it was crazy powerful. So good and so emotionally satisfying that they could have literally just put that scene out as the whole movie, charged me double of what they're charging right
like,
now.
I'm
And I would have
fine.
been like, that was the best fucking picture I saw. You end a movie right, don't matter what the fuck you did in the first hour. You could fuck up left and right, man. As long as you stick the landing, you'll always win people. So I, a long time ago, started taking pictures of myself when I'm crying and posting them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't laugh yet. I see the smile coming up.
Okay.
Now remember, I've called you a smart guy for all this.
I know.
I don't want you coming down to harm me. So there's a reason. I'll get to it. So I did it once, and a lot of people responded very positively to it. Some people were very unnerved by it. Mm-hmm. Like, you're a grown man. What are you doing? I think I cried like Captain Marvel or some shit. It's like, what is this all about? Well, maybe you're smoking too much weed, shit like that. So it's kind of a tradition. I do it all the time. And it's become so stereotypical that, like, I posted a picture the other day from Wakanda Forever. Some tweet was just like, this has to be a Kevin Smith parody account because this is too on point to even be Kevin Smith, but it was Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
So it's got like 30,000 likes.
Yeah.
But 24 hours straight, I trended and people were just lacerating me, man. Just shredding the fuck out of me.
Wait, because you're crying or because you posted that you're crying?
Both.
Both.
Number one, they get upset that I even cried at what they call a kid's
Can we
movie.
see it? You pull it up?
Please don't. There it is. Not fucking terrible.
No.
And look what I wrote, man. Just saw Black Panther. Jesus, that mid-credit scene, worth the price of admission alone. That's it. Controversial? Is that me going, you know what? Trump was right.
No,
is that me going, I got thoughts about the Jews just like Kanye? This is the least controversial fucking thing you could put up on the internet. And the amount of ass fucking I got out of it,
that's a nice
and
tribute.
dry ass fucking
Yeah,
talk,
no
not
lube.
the pleasant kind.
No.
Was unfucking fathomable.
It's a nice
to the point
tribute.
where I was like, I'm done with fucking Twitter. Like, fuck this noise. You can't put up a simple fucking like, hey man, I like this movie and I got crying. Now, it's one thing. I saw two factions. Some people going like, let him alone, he wants to cry at a movie. And then some people being like, look, if he wants to cry at a movie, that's fine. Why the fuck is he taking a picture of it and posting it online? So here's an answer.
Okay.
And one I didn't fucking put online shit because for the longest time I was like, fuck everybody. They don't deserve a fucking response.
We're
or an
answering your
explanation.
questions now. Tell
Yes,
us.
Here it is. First time I ever posted a picture of myself crying. Fucking, I went to the next Comic-Con I was at. A kid came up to me and was like, I love that picture you put up of yourself crying. I was like, oh my God, I'm a little embarrassed I did it. He's like, don't be. He's going, I cry at movies I get beat the shit out of by my friends. He's going, I put up that picture. I showed my friends that you fucking do it too. I get beat up a little bit fucking less. He's going, but you wouldn't want to be around them. They'll probably beat the shit out of you next. And he was like, you made life easier. At that point, I was like, if that picture makes a motherfucker's life easier, it's worth the hits. Like, it's worth fucking a bunch of people saying some shit. And I know for a fact it does. Like, the response is very positive. There are a lot of people like, I feel the same fucking way. But there are an unfathomable amount of just fucking cold people who are like not comfortable with their own emotions.
It's not good, man. It's not good for them. I mean,
really isn't. I feel bad on a certain level. I know they feel bad for me. They're like, you're a fucking... There's some chick named That Star Wars Girl or something like that. And she wrote this fucking screen. She was like, you're always doing this. And she ended with, be a man. And I was like, what the fuck? I've been struggling my whole life not to be a man.
Yeah.
Grown up fucking teenager.
Not to be the version of a man we thought we were supposed to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The man that she was suggesting that I'd be.
Like our dad's generation.
Who didn't fucking cry.
No.
Although my father cried. That's why I can cry at shit, man. Because my father used to take me to the movies all the time.
And he would cry?
He would cry. He cried. First time I ever saw my father cry was in a movie theater. He took me to see Raging Bull. You know, in the 70s, fucking, we all love Rocky and shit.
Yeah.
So when Raging Bull came around, my dad was like, "Oh, there's another boxing movie." And I don't know if you've ever seen Raging Bull, but it's nothing like fucking Rocky.
Yeah.
No. There's a whole like, did you fuck my wife? That never happened in Rocky.
Yeah.
And he had to explain that to me and shit. But in any event, we're watching the movie, and I was like, I remember my first reaction, ironic for the guy that made Clerks. I was like, oh, this shit's in black and white. So I already hated the movie to begin with. And I was bored at a certain point.
That would bother us so much as kids.
God.
Black
it was like,
and
this
white
is so old-timey.
or subtitles. You're like, the fuck? Gotta watch something with subtitles?
I at a certain point, I was getting ready to like ask my dad for like money to go play a video game in the lobby. And I look over, and he's not rolling a dignified tear. My father is sobbing. The movie like grabs him so emotionally and shit like that. And he's like roiling. His body is moving from crying. And I've been to funerals with my old man. I watched him bury his parents.
Yeah.
And I never saw him fucking so much as roll a tear. And there he was like fucking just letting go in the movie theater. And it's not like he was a boxer. I didn't know what the fuck he was identifying with, man. But like something in there reached into him. And it was tacit approval at a young age. It's like, this is a grown ass man. My father was a manly man. And here he is like crying at some made up fake pretend bullshit.
Yeah.
That left a seed in me early on, man, where I leaned more toward the make pretend and the fucking arts. And if something can make you fucking feel,
I want that.
Give me it in fucking spades. That people pay you for that shit.
I want that so much. And the older I've gotten, the more emotional I get, the more I embrace it, the more I...
You smoke it all? You stoner at all?
No. I mean, I used to smoke a lot more. I like to...
That's why you're rich. You just put this aside. You're like, I left all that childish shit behind and focused on business.
A little bit.
I started cutting people out. You're making too much money. You're making too much money. My name's on the show.
Edibles, a few edibles.
You'll fuck with that.
Little light ones, mild ones, but I like.
What's your thing?
Getting
You
emotional.
like the comedy? You like going out and being funny and shit? Is that your jam? Is
Though
that
I
what
like,
does it for you? Like that's what gets you off, other than like being married and shit like that, like being on a stage making motherfuckers laugh.
Oh, there's.
How long you been doing it?
Stand up 20 years.
But how long you been doing it? How long you been making fuckers laugh since you were a kid?
Oh yeah, for sure. We moved a lot. I was always moving. I was always in a new
school. So you
school.
had to be like Charm City.
Oh, always. Yeah.
Fucking A. Look at the roots of your comedy. At least it ain't like sad.
No, and it wasn't sad. But
like,
I
got beat, so I had to be funny. And
I got jumped a couple times when I was young.
Don't try to make it sad. It was all good.
But you know,
so look at you. You're trying to bring down the shine on all this money. Like, well, I was a little street. No, you weren't.
No. I got my ass kicked. We started in Cincinnati. We moved to Minneapolis. That was the first time I got beat up at recess. Was Minneapolis?
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
What for? What was your crime?
Just being a new kid, dude. These 3 kids came
You're
around.
Suspect. Pal.
Boom! Punched me in the stomach. Kneed me.
Didn't get anything funny out quick enough.
I was like,
wait, I have a joke.
I didn't even understand what's happening. You know that?
Is that right?
I didn't understand what's happening. Everyone I had befriended before, everybody was nice. Right. I'd never had like.
And here you are. Where are you? Minneapolis, the home of Minnesota Nice.
Minnesota Nice.
Like, welcome to town.
Yeah, I was in like a suburban. Just didn't expect it. I mean. And then the worst was that, at that age, it's 5th grade, so we're 10 years old, is that the teachers find out and then they like tell our parents, and then they made us get together at his house.
To kind of like patch things up.
Yeah. It was so terrible.
he hit me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to be here. Like,
I don't want to patch anything up.
I remember they had
except
like
the
this
scar.
little, like, very small smoke-filled place that I was just sitting in like this haze of smoke, and they were like, "Hey," like,
And you're like, now I know why your son beats
yeah,
people up.
Yeah, your son's a dick because of you guys.
Wait, where else? What other white places did you grow up?
Milwaukee.
Where did you? Why do they keep moving you around?
It was the same company, and then
What did he do?
He was
Or
my dad was working in finance, but he was like with the same company, but getting moved within the company. So it was like first he was in a certain position, then he went into management, sales. So I watched him, move.
So in those moves up the ladder, moved him around the country.
Moved him around, and then we finally settled in Vero Beach, Florida, which is a couple hours north of Miami.
You're a Florida kid.
That's where I went. That's where I moved there in the middle of freshman year of high school. So
My
we moved
God,
from Milwaukee.
that's so late in the fucking.
It's the worst
game.
move of all. You don't want to move during high school. It sucks. So
What was it like being in Florida?
I hated it. I mean,
Whole time?
no, I can't say I hated it. I hated that we moved in the middle of freshman year of high school when I had just feel like everything is your social circle when you're a kid.
Fuck yeah, that's all you got.
So we moved to Milwaukee, and I got to go there for 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade starts, and now you finally feel like, all right, I got my
some
group.
roots.
these are my guys. This is my friends.
I
this
know
is
where
my-
Bronze Fonz is.
and
This is my
then-
town.
Split. So that one was the roughest. And we moved to a very small, Milwaukee we were in the suburbs of Milwaukee, but we moved to a beach town. So we moved to like the.
And
like,
you'd
it's not
never
a-
been by the water before?
Never been like by anything like it, and it's its own
Vibe.
culture. Yeah, it's like there's certain places you go. Since I tour so much, there's places you go. You're like, oh, this is its own thing.
Yeah.
And you're very clearly not of them when you are like they can tell and you can tell, and that feeling never really goes away. You're just like, I'm not a Floridian. I'm not a beach community person.
Were you there
I met
all
some
through high school?
Yes.
4 years?
4 years. And I did make some great friends, some people I'm still friends with. But I never felt like, oh, I'm home. It's,
So if somebody was like, where'd you grow up? And you had to pick an answer.
I usually would want to wrap
go
up the
Milwaukee?
conversation. No, I would say Florida just because it's the last place and my parents were still, we live in Florida, but
Right.
I would, it's like most of the time you're meeting someone, you don't want to go like, well, I was actually born in Cincinnati and you
I
tell
do.
them
I love the sound of my own voice. So I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
you don't know
you-
my story?
you tell them the
Do you know I
story?
made Clerks and it cost $27,575?
Yeah, I mean, I still have a certain fondness for it because there's things you like and things you don't like. But I felt like that move was rough, man. That was a rough move, just emotionally. I don't think I dealt with it very well.
Have you ever played the Pabst?
In Milwaukee,
Yeah. Is it like there's their sense of like, hey man, fucking
it's an awesome venue.
I love that venue. But
Awesome.
for you being a guy that lived
It was
kinda
cool because
locally,
it was my last
did you go
place that
see
I
shit there when you lived there?
not so much, but kids that I went to high school with that I hadn't seen in 30 years came to the show.
Came to the show? That's awesome.
They were like in my class when I left, and they came to the show, and that was.
Have you
that
ever
was
done a
fun.
show in Minneapolis and have you ever run into a kid that fucking hit you?
No, I did go to do a show in Minneapolis where my next door neighbor came to the show, and that was cool.
That's kinda dope.
He was, he ended up working in like music and memorabilia, and that's who he was as a kid, which was kind of cool. Like
Right.
we were kids. He was 1 year older than me, and I'm into like I don't know. I feel like very kid stuff.
Right.
And he was like, "Have you seen Breakfast Club?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking 11 years old? Like you're talking about like he talked about Judd Nelson's performance. I'm like, you're 11, and this is how you talk about.
So he's that advanced.
He was like advanced.
He was the IMDb before it
He
existed.
was, dude. He was like, "Do you listen to the Smiths and shit?" I was like,
shit.
"No."
He was
I don't."
cultured.
He was like cultured, but like an 11, and he ended up, at one point, like he was like managing a band and running. I was like, "Oh, this is who you were at 11.
Right.
This is
This makes
wild.
sense.
This all makes sense, So it was fun to see like people like that come to your shows, but
How often do you tour? Do you ever tour with Christina?
no, we did that early on, but
Who would open for who?
it wasn't even like we would have
just
an
do
opener
sets.
and we just do set because you don't want to do it at the same time. We
Right.
just like take turns. But yeah, I think once you actually end up selling tickets, you don't want to usually do the same ticket because you can each do the market. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So you each go
Well, also,
separately.
like the more like powerful and popular you guys got, then you could be like in the early days, it'd be like, hey man, we're lucky
We
to
need
get
help
a gig. We
to
need
sell
help.
the
But
ticket.
now it's like,
yeah.
fucking, why would
Now,
we give it
I've
all
just
away?
done the stupidest, most aggressive tour in history.
Which one?
The one that I'm still on right now.
How long?
It started in August of 21, and it ends in May of 23.
And how many
And-
shows is that total?
Well, I don't know what it ends up being. I know that.
And when you say tour, it's just you're doing the same set.
Well, yeah, I mean, different. It grows and everything,
Right.
but we're over 250 shows.
Did you ever figure out what your like? Did you need a theme? Remember they were like, "What's the theme?"
No, and by the way, when Netflix acquired that special with no theme, and then it ended up being a game changer for me.
Right.
You know, like I ended up
So you
becoming a
didn't need
ticket
fucking
seller.
theme.
Yeah.
Did you ever do a theme after that?
Never.
So it's just always like
It's always just what I
here's
like.
the title
here's
and a
the
bunch
set.
of shit I
yeah.
do.
Just a series of bits. There's no theme.
Why won't the tour end?
I mean, there's different reasons. One of them is that I didn't work during the pandemic. I think I got scared.
Right.
And when
You didn't do any like drive-in shows?
I did
or
a
anything?
couple, but not a lot.
Did you go to the Improv in well, I forget where it was. There was but you guys been out here. Were you out here for the pandemic?
No, well,
Were you in LA?
we're in LA.
So there's that the Irvine Improv. They were
Yeah.
doing like an outdoor parking deck.
Oh yeah, I did a
Like
couple
stand-up
things. I did a couple downtown LA. I did like a rooftop parking deck in downtown
Yeah,
LA.
yeah.
I did some shows like that. Then there were cities that were like, we don't give a fuck about anything. Like Oklahoma City was like, come on, do a show indoors
just
right here.
go and fucking
We did
take care.
a show there. Obviously Florida was like, what are you talking about? You can do that show anywhere. Like, we did a couple, but I mean, I waited like 7-8 months, but still, when they start going like, you need to start booking things for next year, I just loaded it up. I just took everything that came in and I decided to build this great big tour, but it's too big. It's just too many dates, too many shows.
Is there such a thing?
I mean, I've been gone
Does it make you happy?
so much. To an extent.
What is the unhappy part?
It's just gone too much. It really is too
As
much,
George
man.
Carlin, right? He said in his book, or he said also like in interviews, like this job would be perfect if they would just all come to my house.
That's the truth.
He was like, unfortunately, I got to go out to them. And he's like, and that's why they give me the money.
That's why you get paid. How crazy was it? Awesome for you to work with him? Like,
amazing. He was everything you wanted him to be plus more. You know, you remind me, and I ain't just saying this because like fucking I'm on your show or whatever, but you remind me of him in as much as he was a comic that didn't feel the need to make you laugh. He wasn't on all the time.
oh, definitely not.
Not at all. You could have conversations with him. So you could just sit there. Like he would have fucking flourished in the age of the podcast.
For sure.
Because everyone knew his like fucking
He would have had a
routines,
monster
but, like, He
podcast.
was just a talker. Like
Yeah.
he was a guy that could just sit there and hold court and stuff. So yeah, he like
And you know this, by the way, but you helped make part of his dream come true in that Carlin's dream
yeah.
was to be an actor.
Yes. I
He
do know
wanted
that.
to be an actor.
Yeah, he wanted to be Danny Kaye.
And
He wanted to be a song and dance man.
So he loved getting
That's why we
acting work.
worked very well together.
That's pretty cool.
It was. I always thought like I got so much out of him even before I met him. Like my father gave me Carlin albums when I was a kid. That was like the version of like, you can handle this beer. He gave me like a class clown. He was like, do not let your mother hear you listen to this. Listen to it with headphones on and shit. And Carlin just made me smarter as a kid. You know, if you're listening to Carlin, you're introduced to concepts and language that are above your depth. And you have to, if you want to keep up, you have to look up things and become smarter. So that also fostered probably more intelligence I would have had if I didn't listen to Carlin. So, and then also me, like I didn't want to, like, I didn't think about being on stage. Like that wasn't in my cards. That happened because when you bring a movie to a festival afterwards, you got to get up and do Q&A.
Yeah.
And I felt fake coming across erudite. I'd only ever made one movie, so I couldn't hold forth on like film theory.
Yeah.
But what I could do is tell entertaining stories about how we made the movie. Like, let me tell you how we got the cat to shit on cue, and fucking work it essentially like a little
Like
stand-up
stand-up.
bit, tell
Absolutely.
anecdotes.
I've seen
and
clips
stuff.
of you doing. It's just like watching a stand-up.
And that I learned from George, like not from George at his knee, just watching George growing up, a lot of stand-ups, but mostly he was my favorite. And the idea was, if somebody's going to put a microphone in your hand, like, don't fucking be staid, just make them laugh. Like, you got a chance to entertain them and stuff like that. They'll remember you more if you tell them like how you got the catch of shit on cue than if you talk about your film theory and why you shot the aspect ratio you did and stuff.
Oh,
Particularly
yeah.
because I'm brand new at the thing. So because of that, like I wound up in front of audiences, and I just followed his fucking lead. And so couldn't pay that guy back for all he didn't know that he gave me, or all I took from him, from his example. Like as a young kid, I remember watching Carlin at Carnegie and being like, wouldn't that be amazing? Like to grow up and be smart and curse all you want.
Yeah.
Like, and he sounded intelligent even when he was cursing. My parents, who hated cursing, let him curse on HBO. They didn't like turn it down. They'd
like,
laugh
okay.
along. They were into it. Him, they respected. So how do you pay that guy back? You give him the only thing he ever wanted. He loved to act.
He loved it.
So I'd call him up and be like, yeah, let's do it. And he'd come fucking play. And he treated it so seriously, man. I've told the story a zillion times. We were doing Jersey Girl and we're in rehearsals, right? It's just me and him and Ben Affleck, and Ben's pouring some morning coffee. And George is like flattening his script. And he's just like, Kevin, I have a question for you as the author of this piece. And I was like, okay. And he goes, the character Greenie that I'm always giving shit to, as Stephen Root played this character Greenie. He's like, I'm always stepping on his dick and up his ass, and it makes no sense. He's a sweet guy, and he's never done anything in the movie to warrant this kind of treatment. So I was always bumping into it. But last night, I figured it out. I wrote a backstory for my character. I figured out why I'm always irritated with Greenie. It has something to do with a girl that we got a mutual hand job from back in high school. He's going, so I wrote 18 pages of backstory. And I was like, 18? He goes, don't you worry about it. I've already memorized it. I've thrown it out. I will never reference it in the dialogue. But just know that whenever I'm giving Greenie shit, this is the memory that I'm pulling from. And I turned to fucking Affleck. I was like, why can't you be this fucking good? He was method. He believed in the craft. He believed in the lie that tells the truth. Like, he loved acting. And if he'd had his druthers, that's what he would have done. He backed into being one of the greatest stand-ups of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But acting, he loved. And I think that's the one thing when he left this world, I felt like, you know what? The guy gave me so much, I was able to give him back.
Dude, that's so cool.
I gave him shit like he blew a trucker in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, but my God, he was convincing.
Oh, dude, he was fucking rad. And I mean, and in Dogma.
Yes, Cardinal Glick.
Yeah, it was so great. I also, by the way, my dream was to be that's what I went to LA for. To be an actor.
To be an actor? Is that that's what brought
I
you out?
never was pursuing stand-up, yeah.
Why'd you wind up in stand-up then?
By accident.
How?
I was in the Groundlings.
And you were in the Groundlings for acting?
To be I thought I'd be a good comedy actor.
Right. But while you were there, you were like, I'm good in front of people?
Somebody told me.
What'd they say?
They were like, you should try stand-up.
Who said that?
Sam Tripoli, who's a comedian. He was like, you should do stand-up. And I was like, what? He goes, you would like stand-up. I can tell. Because we would do these things, and sometimes you were alone doing the thing. And he was like...
You shined when you were by yourself?
He was like, you would like stand-up. And I go, what do I do? And so he drove me around LA one night, and I followed him doing spots. I just watched him. I was like, what do you do? I don't know what you do. And I watched him do like 3 spots. And I was like, okay.
Were you guys friends?
Just from the class. So we were just, everybody in the class was kind of supportive, you know.
It's a commitment to bring you around.
It was very nice, very generous of him. And then Nick Wegner, who's now, he writes a lot. He's written on shows and a bunch of stuff. And he has a writing partner. He was also in that class, and he did stand-up also. And he was like, I think he's right. I think you'd like stand-up. And he goes, here. And then we walked into this place, like a small bar show. And he's like, this is the booker. He walks up to her as she's doing something. And he goes, hey, Kathy, this is Tom. He's a stand-up.
And you were not a stand-up.
I've never done a stand-up. And
that moment you were, as like when Tony Stark was like, you're an Avenger. Kid.
Yeah, exactly. And then he goes, and she's like, oh, cool. She goes, do you want to do, not next Thursday after, you want to do a spot? And I just go, yeah. She goes, okay, you're booked. And then she like writes it down. And I walked away. He's like, oh, you got a spot. And I was like, what do I do?
How much, did you have 5 minutes? Did you have 10?
Dude, do you know how stupid I am? I wrote about this in my book, but when I think about, I guess this is real panic because I think about how stupid this is. I invited people to come watch me do stand-up, and I told them I do stand-up. Like, I didn't tell them this is the first time I'll ever do stand-up. I was like, do you want to come watch me do stand-up? And they were like, you do stand-up? And I was like, yeah.
Without being like, I do now.
Yeah.
Or I will.
Or I will attempt for the first time. And they're like, oh, Tom does stand-up.
All right, so wait. They went?
And? It went, like, not as poorly as it could go and not amazing, but like got some laughs to the point where like, I mean, I'm sure it's awful. I have it on tape. I have not watched it.
Really?
I have it on tape.
You should reinvestigate. Oh my God! How have you not done this on a whole episode?
I don't know. I got to bust it out
with your lady just fucking like ranking on
dude,
you. One of the best episodes we ever did a Smodcast was like I found these tapes that I used to like bike around my town and record myself. Scott Mosier called it dobbling after Lloyd Dobler. He's like, you're acting like Lloyd Dobler, driving around recording your thoughts and shit like that. And we did an episode called Emo Kev where I play the tapes.
Yeah.
And we pause just to fucking have him cackle at the stupid shit that I'm saying.
We got
it
do
would be
it.
gold. It would be
I have the very first time doing stand-up. I also have like maybe a year and a half, 2 years in where I'm dialed in on how much I'm obsessed with Chris Rock.
Right.
And you are watching.
You do Chris Rock?
A poor Chris, like unaware, but I'm like, and then I'm like doing this with my hands. Like,
oh my
God.
God.
And I'm like, all my hand gestures are his hand gestures.
Culturally appropriating,
yeah,
if you
will.
will.
And I was like, and I'm even like kind of like blacking it up when I talk. I'm like, I had a lady come up to me one time and I'm talking to her off stage like this. And she goes, you're oddly urban on stage. And I was like, oddly urban?
What a way to put it.
Yeah, and then I was like, it took me a while to process.
Sounds like a fucking dog whistle, doesn't it? You're oddly urban. We'll meet you at the meeting.
It was, But you go through all these iterations when you're trying to figure it out. But the worst is that I definitely have it on tape. Yeah.
You got to that's an episode right there.
I know. I think what I'll do? I just shot my special last weekend. And so
is it based on all
this current tour?
Where did you choose? Where was your location?
I did the Celebrity Theater in Phoenix.
Why?
I wanted to do it in the Round.
Nice.
I'd done a couple in the Round that I enjoyed. George Carlin did one there.
He did one there, yeah.
And
earliest one. Even before Carlin and Carnegie.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And like they built me the fucking most amazing set that when I got there, I was like, oh my God. And I got to shoot 4. I recorded 4. I've never done
the shows?
Usually you shoot 2 on a special taping.
Right.
But I did 2 Friday, 2 Saturday.
Fucking
so I have like a ton to pull from, figure out which one you want to use.
Do you still do it with Brian or no?
No, I worked with John Irwin.
The night that Brian shot my thing.
Yeah.
I did, mine was eventually it was called Silent But Deadly. It ran on Showtime. We were supposed to do 2 shows and cut it together from that. But I wound up doing it was supposed to be 90 minutes, but I did like 2.5 hours. And when I got off stage, Brian was just like, oh my God, if we had to cut the show from that, we could. And I was like, no, man, there's one more show. And then I went in the back and had a heart attack and we didn't do the second show. So my stand-up special is cut from the one fucking show.
And were you 330 when that happened?
No, at that point I was 290. So I was down a little bit from there because I'd given up sugar at one point. But I was still pretty hefty. And
what is a day like for you now as consuming wise? Like when you...
Not much. Like the kids that I travel with, I'm on tour with Liv and Josh, they're always kind of like mentioning you don't really eat meals anymore. You just kind of snack.
And that's really the truth?
Yeah.
Do you exercise too?
Yeah, I go walking generally every day, like 4 or 5 miles.
Oh, wow. So you stayed on top of it. That's the thing is some people have something like that happen and then they just kind of go right back.
The doctor, the day that I was getting out, he's like, how do you feel? I was like, I feel great. And he goes, well, that's the problem. I said, why? He's like, well, time was you went through something like you went through, 100% blockage. We'd have to crack your fucking chest. We'd saw your bones. We'd get into your heart. We'd fix it. Then you would sit around mending for 3 to 6 months and you would know that you went through something serious and you would change your life accordingly. He goes, but look at you. You're out of here in 32 hours. You say you feel great. That means you may just slip back into the same habits. You put a stent in there. He's like, so you could just slip back, and that's what happens. He goes, if I'm lucky, I'll see you one more time before you die if you don't change your habits. And so at that point, my kid she'd been vegan for 3 years and stuff. And it was so weird watching her trying to figure out where to eat and stuff because there was no place.
I saw you guys one time at the Beverly Center and I didn't say hi.
This is fucking really cool.
Well,
it's a hell of an anecdote.
You know what I mean? It's like you had Apple stuff. You just bought Apple stuff.
And I was with the kid?
I was like, I'm not going to go fucking bother the guy.
Why?
I don't know, because you're famous. I didn't want to.
Hardly. But in regard, you could come over and been like, I saw Clerks.
Hey, how's Apple?
Well, if that's your opener, I would suggest.
They still
you
got
seem
good
a lot
stuff.
more charming than
Right,
that.
no, I know.
You could have
No,
been,
I know.
unusually
I
urban
always,
with me.
what it do, homeboy? So, what's the word, Cat? I always feel like I recognize people and I go, don't bother that guy. You don't want to bother anybody.
What was I talking about? I forgot. Maybe it was important.
Your kid was vegan is so hard.
Oh, she made me
yeah.
go vegan. She was there when the nutritionist was like, you should, maybe think about adding more vegetables into your diet. And the kid was like, you should just go vegan, Dad.
Were you
And I
just
was
an animal before?
Bro, I used to drink, this is no lie. And people get weirded out. I used to drink 2 gallons of milk a day. I loved milk. Somebody told me milk is very filling.
I've never even met somebody like that.
2 gallons of milk a day.
Really?
Yeah, I loved milk. It was
2
crazy.
gallons?
And that wasn't, you would think like that was
Full
the
fat
only thing I
milk?
did, full fat milk. Because we did an episode of a podcast I do called Education. My friend Andy McElfresh read a factoid where
that might be the wildest quirk I've ever heard about anybody.
It put me on a fucking operating table, almost killed me eventually. But he said during this one piece, he was talking about how milk is very filling because it coats the stomach and stuff and makes you less hungry. I was like, that sounds good. So I started just overdoing it with the milk. It's pretty bad.
And food-wise, where you just eat whatever?
Whatever the fuck, yeah. But mostly, like,
and are you
never
vegan? You're still vegan now?
Yeah, still. It's been, I'm coming up on 5 years. After the heart attack, when the nutritionist said that shit, the kid was like, please, Dad, try it.
Do you have temptations to, or no, you're kind of.
I don't miss anything.
You don't miss anything.
They now have got like equal shit.
Also,
like,
doesn't it feel good to look in the mirror though? Like it's nice.
Yeah, it is. It is actually better.
I mean, I used to feel like that does so much for self-esteem.
It does. And it's also like, it's something that has been an issue like my whole fucking life.
Same,
since
same,
I was
dude.
a kid, ever struggling with the fucking weight and stuff. So it was nice to get to a place where it's not the concern. I'm not consumed with that anymore.
And like,
and mind
with
you,
how
my
uncomfortable
body,
you are.
Totally. But mind you, my body is nothing anybody wants to look at because when you lose that weight, all the skin just drapes.
Falls. Yeah.
And so one could get a procedure where you like have it cut off and they sew you up and shit. But a friend of mine did that and he was like, bro, never do it. He was like, I know you. You have no tolerance, no threshold for pain. He's like, this is the worst pain I've ever been in my life. So I got evidence, man. Like fucking, if I take my fucking kid off right here and shit, I look like fucking remember the dude in RoboCop who got hit with the fluids? He's like, he's all droopy.
Yeah,
that's what my shit looks like. Or remember in The Shining when the hot chick gets out of the tub and turns into
terrifying.
That's my shit looks like.
Is that a kind of a is that a thing every day where you pass by a mirror and it's a
if I'm out of clothes, like
but it's a silent reminder though. I'm saying like where
always,
you go,
always when I see it, and another reason not to like cut it off. It's like battle scars, so to speak. And whatnot. But also like I'm 52. Who gives a fuck?
Totally.
It's not like my wife's like, oh my God, get rid of that.
Yeah.
I'm sure now she's like, this is better than fucking what I've been dealing with the last 20 years.
Right.
We've never had that real conversation, but we should one day where I'm like, you like this better, right?
Right.
Right? Like,
right.
Like me being, come on. I mean, for fucking 24 years, like she was on top because I was like, well.
I'm a big guy.
Yeah, you seem to like it up there.
I do. I've struggled with it as an adult my whole life, up and down, up and down. This is probably the longest stint I've had right now of just being serious.
You look thin to me.
I'm 205 right now.
So,
but I've been,
and yet you have the audacity to call a podcast "Two Bears, One Cave." They were hardly a bear.
Well, it started. I was way fatter.
So now you got to change the name of the podcast. We had a podcast called Fat Man Beyond, Fat Man on Batman.
Yeah.
Then I lost weight. We had to change it to Fat Man Beyond.
Really?
Yes. Because I felt like it was false advertising.
So what should we call it? One bear. One
otter?
bear,
one otter.
One
yeah,
otter,
fucking yeah, man. I mean, what else would it be? It's like
Tom and the Hitler guy. I don't know. You see, I got him.
No,
Hitler's...
not the title. What derivation? What designation would you be if not an otter?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I got to be an otter. I got to be an otter. Yeah, fuck man.
Although I like your pitch. That was a fast pitch.
It was fast. I got him Hitler's teacup, so that's why we're
What do you mean? I'm sure it's a long story in this whole episode, but did you really get him Hitler's teacup?
Yeah, for his birthday. Yeah.
Why? Why?
Well, I was trying to get him something different.
I mean, yeah.
And
were they actually his?
Well, from everything we could, verify. I mean, it cost me a lot.
Oh my God. With all this money
I know.
that Netflix and this fucking
I had to go
thing
through
gives
this
you?
like hardcore white supremacist in Idaho.
Serious?
Yes. And I had to do cash deliveries. And then like, he authenticated that it was Gertie Troosts. And they she gifted it to this guy when she died in 98 and 3 other sellers. And I was like,
Did you tell me, be honest, did you do it for the story, for the episode?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was, and I know he's a big history buff. He said he has to destroy it, but I think he should, give it to a museum.
I'm with him. It's kind of like,
I give it to a museum.
Shouldn't you ceremonially destroy him in the fake fireplace right here? Like, fucking,
yeah, I think if we're going to do that, though, we should have a Jewish friend do it. I don't want it to
that's
be.
smart. That's good.
I think it's more fun
that's
that
good.
way.
Yeah. You can't do that. You're not allowed.
Yeah, I mean, at least let somebody take out a little.
Let them lose some, especially right now, bringing the tensions down.
Yeah.
You could be doing the right thing right now.
Yeah, we should invite Kyrie to do it. Okay. Oops.
Wow, shit got very, very topical.
Yeah,
very quick.
it did. Very topical. Dude, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me, man. It was
a real treat. You're a fun guy to podcast
in
with.
Austin. Yeah, fucking likewise, man. It's a good time.
I can't believe we didn't do this for a long time.
I know we were in the same town all the time. This is like finding a lover too late in life. We're like, no.
Man. Can we do it again though?
Absolutely.
We'll invite Christina.
Would love that. Would absolutely love
let her
be
here.
I can't remember or imagine the next time I'll be in Austin. But you guys, if
we come to LA all the time.
I was gonna say, if you're gonna be in LA, fucking,
Yeah.
I got this. Well, not this. I don't have all this art. I mean, do you have a production designer?
We hired one, for this, yeah.
And I heard you talk before about your fucking, like, you're like, they built a nice set for me. What do you need a set for to fucking, like, do comedy?
Wait, which set?
I think you're getting too spoiled by all these trinkets. Look at all this art. And you're buying Hitler's cups? How much money do you have? Do you want to produce a movie?
Yeah.
1.2. What'd you get for that 1.2? Make a whole ass. I can make 3 movies for that.
When so we just did color last week.
Color timing?
Color correction. And then we the mix was this week, and there's a couple of VFX things that are going in, and then it's done. Can I send it to you when it's done?
I would love to watch it. But have you seen any of this? Do you know that you're not getting taken
I've
for
been
a
there.
ride?
No, I've been there.
They're like, we're doing color now, and you're like, I hear they're doing color.
I went, and I had to go.
proof.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it looks
amazing.
fucking unbelievable. And I got fucking. I don't even know if I should say, but who was he did one of the short. He is unbelievable because he just blew everybody away.
Right.
But you see it's like, I mean, you experience this more than anybody, but it's like, you have friends that are like, yeah, I act or whatever. And you can have people like them in a movie. And then you have like some like virtuoso come in and you're like action. And you're like, holy shit. Oh, yeah. It's it kind of shuts everything down, Yeah. Like I did this movie with Wahlberg and a couple people, and Margot Martindale is a great character actress.
Yeah, wonderful.
But like, it was one of those things where we'd just be like bullshitting between.
That wasn't your short. You were in
no,
the movie?
I was in that movie. Yeah.
What was that for?
It was called Instant Family. It was out a few years ago. But I just remember
She
being
cool, Margot?
Oh my God.
I mean,
coolest.
she's awesome in movies.
But we're just like sitting around talking,
Right.
And then it's like action. And this thing happens where I end up watching her. Like I'm supposed to be in the scene, and I'm like, oh my God.
You just appreciate the performance.
Yeah,
You're
like,
she's a really good actor.
You're so good at acting. And they're like, Tom, I'm like, yeah, where, what time are we supposed to be there? And they're like, cut, like start it over again. Because I'm just like,
this is what we get for hiring these comics.
Yeah, I'm like, they're taken by how good of an actress she is.
Wow.
And like, was like that where I was like, what the fuck, man? It was really impressive. And I got great people.
Are you in the short as well?
I'm in all of them, but what I did was I wanted to be in all of them, but I only wanted to be the lead in the one that I wanted to be. So
right.
I thought I would just lend myself to like, I'm just cameos in 2 of them
right.
and the lead in 1. Yeah.
And Christina or no?
She's not in it, no.
What's been her take on all this? Like, go with God, enjoy.
Yeah.
Or, hey man, 1.2, we could have bought our 5th house.
You think I run this shit by her, dude?
You don't?
Fuck no. She doesn't know
Is
anything.
that the secret to success?
Yeah, you don't tell them anything. I used to have shit show up at the house.
It's smart.
Yeah.
You gotta write notes for me, man.
Yeah. I'm like,
you gotta write another book.
I'm like,
the book is like, this is the real party. Where you tell everybody how it's done.
Like, this is a 997 GT3 RS. You're lucky to have it. Yeah, I don't fucking ask.
That's all square with the woman I met.
I give her some cool stuff too.
That's
It's
it.
fine.
Just throw some fucking wealth her way as well.
Yeah. Hey, here's some earrings. Go have a ball.
Why'd you wait this long in the process to teach me these things, man?
Well, we should do another podcast.
We should, absolutely.
Well, have fun tonight, dude.
Thank you. It's gonna be good times, man.
Honestly, I've really enjoyed all your work. I think you're a super talented, super funny guy.
Means the fucking world. Likewise. That's why I was here, man. I was
So
jumped
happy.
at the chance to be here.
So happy you came by. And have fun on the tour, man. Have fun on the tour.
Thanks for having, man. You as well. Fucking, you're almost done.
May 15th.
That's it.
That's the end. May 15th.
There it is. So you're coming to a close of yours.
All right, 7 more months. Let's go. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.
Quick point of personal privilege.
Yes.
Guys, he, him. I'm one of the people who's very, very prone to sensory overload. We're all fresh and ready to go.
Thank you, comrade.
If we want to defeat capitalism, we are going to need a party that will organize working people to fight for the demands that we want and to win socialism.
Ready to go.
Thank you, comrade.
We're all fresh and ready to go.
Thank you, comrade.
We're all fresh and ready to go.
Thank you, comrade.
We're all fresh and ready to go.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you so much.
Hey, you just watched a full episode of Your Mom's House. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, watch another one. Maybe you'll like that one. They're everywhere. Look, I don't know. They place them in like cubes, squares, whatever it is. Just click another one. Maybe you'll find someone you like or someone will get hurt.